Hello everybody out there, I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
And welcome back to another indie comic book review filled with indie comic goodness. We got 12, well actually we have 10 digital books from this week and 4 physical books this week. And the books that came out this week were released on
April 15, 2015.
And we do actually have 2 extra books that were not released
On April 15,
on
2015.
April 15th. Right, thank you.
I see you need a brother to help you out.
Tongue twister. Okay, so these 2 books are again from Dirk Manning.
Yep.
First one is Nightmare World Volume 2, chapters
5 and 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Disaster Piece, Part 1.
Yes, so the first story...
Or chapter 5, sorry.
Chapter 5, yeah. I thought it was a little bit okay. Like, the artwork was pretty good. It was just about these 2 guys
the
who are
wizard.
the same. Yeah, they're the same people, and they want to summon demons. And one has a book that does it, and the other one knows it by heart because he has all tattoos and everywhere. So I thought the way they were summoning them was like really interesting, you know, for that. But I really thought that was a really great story there. The second, the 6th chapter called Mama's Boy. That one was about a little boy who, and you actually could see through his perspective. He had an abusive father who drank a lot, and he always beat up his mother, mostly all the time. And his name is Dusty. The little boy's name is Dusty, and the father's name was Henry. So all the time when all that happened, he would run away, he would go into the woods or hang out with his friends and his girlfriend as well. And, you know, like there was just a lot of things that he had a little bit of fear over his father because of all the abuse and whatnot that he has caused. So one night when he comes back, he does come back as sort of himself, but a little bit more darkish, and does something to the father, and yeah, definitely something that was pretty interesting.
That was an awesome one.
Yeah, but I gotta say though, I'm really enjoying the Nightmare World. It's just, you know, I'm looking forward to always reading 2 chapters every week, but Dirk Manning, just check it out.
Alright, we are now in chapter 9 of Tales of Mystery, Volume 1. And in this chapter, Mystery goes to help out...
Chapter
9.
9, yeah.
This girl who he knows, and they have like a bit of a conversation at the beginning of the chapter. I don't want to spoil too much. But in the end, she doesn't even recognize Mystery at all. And it turns out that she is the daughter of his friend that passed away chapters before. But she's not moving on because there's something left undone. So Mystery is there to help her move on. And she apparently can't move on until she gets revenge on her boyfriend because apparently she got drunk, he laid her on her back, she choked on her own, and so she points the guy out. She's like, that's why I'm at this bar. I'm here to look, because this was our spot where we always hung out. And then she's like, and there he is. And she points this guy out. Mystery drags him out.
I like how he just says outside.
And a bit of a fight breaks out, but he drags him outside. I'm not going to say what the ghost does, but she wreaks her revenge, sort of. And then she kind of gets a bit of amnesia again. And he kind of snaps her out of it. And she's like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm dead. And my boyfriend killed me. And there he is. And she points to another guy, and he's like, oh no. And then he just runs off, because basically she pointed the wrong guy out the first time. And Mystery actually helped her to try to move her on. And it was the wrong guy. And now she's just pointing out every single guy that she sees. So in other words, she doesn't remember who the boyfriend was.
So she has just amnesia, but she's dead.
She's kind of a little lost. So he ends up running off, and I guess he kind of fails in this chapter. Again, a really good chapter. I'm really, really loving Mystery.
Yeah,
I definitely recommend Volume 1. I can't wait for the physical copy to come from the Kickstarter. I'm really having a lot of fun with this. Can't wait to review Chapter 10 next week.
Okay.
Alright, now we are in the books from the 15th.
Yes, and Archie Comics Mega Man issue number 48. I love the cover that I got, which was the Game Art variant from Capcom. I thought it looked really nice. But this is the final conclusion to the Ultimate Betrayal, where Mega Man goes up against Gamma, who is controlled by Dr. Wily. So Mega Man, really, this whole chapter, or this whole book actually, in this issue, with great... this artwork was really phenomenal. Throughout the whole Ultimate Betrayal, is trying to find a weakness to Gamma. And he's like trying everywhere. He does find it, which was inside the mouth, and he uses like these search snakes to take out those little bolts. So Dr. Wily, he gets out of the robot, but there was a little bit of a rock accident. Breakman shows up to save Mega Man, and Dr. Wily is presumed to be dead from what Mega Man was telling Dr. Light when he returned home. And, you know, he just said that he tried to save him. And then there's this character in the end that talks about Mr. X having plans for Dr. Wily. And it's going to lead to the next story arc, Prisoners of War. So, I think after Prisoners of War, like the Sonic Book of Protectors might lead to World Unite, because 2 months, World Unite's coming, and I'm really psyched up and can't wait to see that comic book. And next one's yours from Image.
Alright, spiraling out of Spawn Resurrected, issue number 1, or the one-shot. We are now back in Spawn, Spawn 251. Brand new creative team, Brian Wood, and I forget the artist, which I'm going to tell you now. This is Spawn 251 anyway. And Al is back on Earth. Art is by John Boy. Dialogue is by... oh, I'm sorry. Dialogue is by Paul Jenkins and Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, and the art's by John Boy.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I got that wrong. I guess they'll be taking over next. Anyway, now Al is back on Earth, and he wants to find out who the people were that killed his wife. And he meets up with this guy called Mike, and it turns out Mike is kind of a messenger from God, and God leaves Al this envelope with monies and a hotel room. We find out where Al's wife is, along with his unborn son, and there's something definitely up with the unborn son. I think there's something really special about this unborn son, and we're going to see this develop as time moves forward. After giving him the envelope, though, Al is attacked by some demons dressed as police officers. Huge fight breaks out, and Al is basically out to get answers about where his wife is, because he still doesn't know where she is and who killed her. And awesome epic fight. I am not going to spoil a thing. It was great. We might be seeing a new clown, by the way.
Oh.
We might. I'm going to give that little spoiler away. But he goes back to see Mike. Mike explains. One name is dropped, and I cannot pronounce it, but oh, where was it? Belial?
Belial.
Whatever. And it turns out that this person was an angel, or an archangel fighting on God's side.
It's heavy dialogue.
He failed. It's a heavy dialogue book, very heavy. He got into too much trouble, and instead of taking his punishment lightly, he turned sides and now fights for hell and basically wants to hurt God. And Al's wife being killed was basically a casualty of the fight between Belial and God. And we find out a little bit more about Mike. Mike actually sacrificed a whole lot to actually come to Earth as a human, become human, and help Al Simmons out. But he does only answer to God. He's only there as Al's kind of like partner. But he doesn't take orders from Al. And I like these Walking Dead figures, by the way.
I know,
which,
I was looking at that.
I noticed it as we were flipping through the book. Series 4, we got Paul, Jesus, Monroe, Carl. Well, anyway, I don't want to go into a different book. But
yeah.
This was an excellent Spawn issue. I really liked it. Really great to see Al back. I really loved the artwork. John Boy did a really excellent job with Spawn. I don't know where these teeth came from. I guess we're getting kind of a Venom-esque costume now. I can live with it. Believe me, I can live with it. It's just great to have Al back. So I guess we'll have to wait and see where this goes. But hopefully at some point, maybe it'll go back to a more classic Spawn where there's no mouth. But if it doesn't, I'm pretty okay with the mouth at this point.
Alright, two Xenoscope books, which are my books. Wonderland issue number 34. We go into the White Queen going in the well from the last issue. And we get introduced to this character. I can't remember what her name was, but she fights off against this demon who basically wants to turn everything darkness, and he's like saying like terror will come, and you know, basically that happens. I like the artwork though, as always. So she goes off to find the White Queen, and this is where the White Queen goes down the well, and when she goes down the well is the one that gives her these dreams of, it's like a normal life, but it's like a little bit different, where her daughter is out of the house, meanwhile her husband goes to work and everything, and the daughter won't talk to her for some reason, and she's just talking about, you know, about what those dreams meant and everything. It's kind of a little bit harder to explain that, but it is actually, it gives her answers that she wants, as well as going against the, oh, what were they called?
It's a dragon.
No, yeah, it's the dragons, but I can't remember what they were called. Like, they were after something, I can't remember. But anyway, they go off against the Apates, yeah. That's who they were. And the White Queen talks to this woman who we saw before. And you can read the book to find out for yourself.
Oh, look, it's the Ace of Spades.
Uh-huh. There's going to be a little bit of a thing going on with the Ace of Spades, but really interesting book, though. It really picked up from the last issue really nicely, and something you should definitely check out. And last but not least, the awesome stories. Grimm Tales of Terror, issue number 10. And in this story, it mostly talks about, there's a bride and groom who go to Long Beach, California, this is taking place, and they want to spend their place at a venue where this girl talked about, there were a couple who were at this venue, and they were never, and the husband and or wife were never seen again. They were like disappeared. So we get a story about the bride and groom, and basically, you know, there's just a lot of talk about, you know, about dancing, and then they want to play hide and seek. So this man goes in room 340, where this woman, out of nowhere, just wants to, you know, make love to him, even though he's already married and everything. But he hides inside this box, which looks like a coffin, and at 340 there's a sign that says closed for repairs. And several months later, when they went and looked again, yeah. And the story upset the bride who was listening to it, and the woman who goes to the bathroom meets the girl like in the story, and there's the guy Rod with the sign closed for repairs. So that was really it was creepy in an awesome way, but I really enjoyed the story. Grimm Tales of Terror delivers every single time. This was my definite favorite book for physical copies for the indies. Really awesome, and really enjoyed it.
Alright, this is my last book, and it's a guilty pleasure. It's Peanuts, issue number 27. Love reading it each and every week. Love the artwork. Love the little stories in between. If you guys miss the classic Peanuts, you get the classic artwork, the classic stories, and so much more. I love looking through and reading these books each and every month from Boom Studios. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. That's really all I can say about it. If you are a Peanuts fan, you'll definitely be checking it out. They're celebrating 65 years. If you're not, you won't, but I definitely recommend it. It's a great read. Moving on now to Dynamite. We're at the Django Zorro, issue number 6.
Yes. And this story, Django talks... Well, first of all, it has these two couples who are spending time with each other, and we get a little bit more of a relation between those two. So Diego's talking about El Zorro and how he's dangerous and how he'll like come in the middle of the night and attack. Then we see the Django version of Zorro, who actually invades the palace because they were in this palace, where they were talking about different plans about, because in every Zorro story they like want to take over the lands and everything, and Django actually wants to go after them with the horse. And I really love the artwork in the story. And Django sees these people who are hung on the trees, and it kind of actually turned him off to find out, why they did that. And unlike Zorro, Django is the one that kills people. And Diego was trying to tell him at the end of the story, no, Zorro doesn't kill people. He just brings them to justice. And Django's like saying, you know what? Zorro does things his way, I do things my way, and my way of showing justice is to, show violence. I did leave out a bunch of other stuff because I want you guys to read the book, but yeah, let's just say the ending.
In the next issue.
Yeah, it's going to be concluded in the next issue, and it's really something else for what you see in the end of the book. But I really liked it. It was really good.
All right, next we got King Dynamite.
And that's the Phantom issue number 2.
Guest starring Mandrake the Magician.
Yep. So in this, we see this woman who had a gun, and it goes back 3 weeks earlier of how and why they got into this whole argument and everything. And, she was known to like really terrorize everything. And there was like this mission where these two guys, I forgot what their names were, Otero and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they have like a long talking conversation about certain trades and of drugs and stuff. So there's like this whole big chaotic thing that goes on in town where Otero and that guy with
the magician.
The magician shows up. I was gonna say the magician shows up along with the Phantom, who join in the whole chaotic fight.
Several Phantoms.
Well, several, because one goes after the other. They could.
Oh, it's a trick. It's an illusion.
Yeah, it's an illusion trick. Yeah, that's what the Phantom does. So yeah, and then they just go into the long and short story about how to get the drugs, and it goes back to this woman who is having like these thoughts of how to burn the building or something because of where she was in. Because her plan was to burn the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she got the gun, like saying, you try to kill me, so, And then, I think Lothar is her name. Oh, no, that was the guy's name that was with Otero, Lothar, yeah. So, it was,
interesting book.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
This has to be my favorite read.
My
even though
book
it's
of the
your
week
book.
for digital.
John Carter, Warlord of Mars, issue number 5.
Yes, it's John Carter, or Captain Carter, versus Captain Virginia in a fight. It was
Captain Clark.
I thought it was Captain...
It's Captain Carter versus Captain Clark.
Wait, what did I say?
Captain Virginia.
Oh, because he's
John Carter's from Virginia.
Oh, I'm sorry. Captain Clark, thank you for correcting me, actually.
Action-packed, awesome.
It is really action-packed. And we, go up. I just want to see what his name is. We get Vush Tanzer, who actually wants to try to win Deja Torres' love over him. So, John Carter leaves after Captain Clark had the upper hand. So, he says, but we will finish this. And overnight, he talks with Deja Torres about, how, he wants, Captain Clark wants to kill him, and John Carter knows that, but he doesn't want to stoop that low to his level. So, he says, it's only me, it's my fight, and I have to save 2 worlds because that's what I do, and I fight, and he fights because of love. He doesn't fight because of anything else. So the next day, he calls out to Clark, saying, I'm here to fight you, even though nobody's around. It's just you and me. But I'm gonna make an offer. If you win, like John Carr says, if I win, you have to leave Barsoon. But if you win, well then you kill me. And Dejah Thoris is watching this, but gets kidnapped by Vush, who is going to say, "But you are mine now," because of all that happened before. So this was excellent. This is my favorite digital book for this week in the indie review. Really awesome.
All right, we're now in Image,
Yep.
I believe. Oh no, sorry, Dark Horse. And we have 8, issue number 3.
Yeah, and 8 issue number 3. It was a little bit heavy dialogue. It goes into where I'm trying to remember the main character's name. Why I always forget his name, I have no idea. Well, it actually still is his point of view, but we get this other point of view before we go into the main characters about being in the whole dinosaur ages. So he's just trying to tell them that there's like stuff going on with the 8 that was on his arm, and he wants to know why she had the number 8. So the little sister Nali, or however you say her name, went into found some more information, and she wasn't supposed to go there because it was not a safe place to go. So they passed through all the guards and everything, and Neela, who actually is the character, the main character actually finds out something about her that is very shocking. I think his name's Joshua. Go up, because I saw the name. No, up one more page. Back.
Yeah, Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua, yeah. Joshua finds out something really interesting about Neela, and Neela actually goes into another time dimension and meets up with a certain character that we saw in the beginning. So there's a little bit of a time switch thing that's going on, and wow. Talk about amnesia going on in that book.
Alright, next we've got from IDW, Dave, issue number 3 as well.
Dave turns into a badass in this issue. Like, he talks with his son, about the whole invasion that's going on and yada 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 with the Kalars. And the Kalars says that they want to take over the Earth for power, because they want power for their planet as well as the whole universe. So Dave goes into the office to actually download something that the boss really didn't like that he downloaded, and he catches him. And then he fires him, and he's like saying, "You know what? You fire me, I quit." And he just gives him a huge uppercut to the boss, and the security threw him out because he was not supposed to be at work at that time, because he was supposed to come in the morning, and that's why he got fired. So he calls his wife, and I think the wife still loves him, but because there's like a whole thing between the sister and her, which was at the beginning of the book. So Dave is trying to find people to help him with the war, and 2 people who he asked wouldn't help him. So, things are getting a little bit heated up with the Kalars coming onto Earth and saying, "All hail Kalar," and we get a little backup story of Dave's son Scotty, and Scotty's that boy's got some issues in this book. In a funny way, but you grow to like him in this book. Let's just put it that way. But this is like my second favorite book of the week, I would say. This one, Dave. So, actually, no, that's my third favorite. My mistake. There is a second favorite, which we'll get to shortly.
Alright, next we've got The Fly, Outbreak, issue number 2.
And in The Fly, Outbreak, we get more about symptoms of if you have the fly virus. And he talks about that you get this sexual drive where, you feel this love and everything, and then it's basically a sexual thing. Let's just put it that way. And I like the artwork, but it's very dark. Very dark. Yeah, and then he has a little talk with his girlfriend because he's trying to make a cure for this, or at least he's telling the guards that's what they want him to believe. And while he's talking to his girlfriend his wife, over the internet. So there's a whole fight that breaks loose between him and Beth, yeah. Because Beth says, I know you're married, but I want to, make love to you and everything. He's like saying, oh no, you must have this virus thing because of the sexual drive that I was talking about before. And things just get a little bit all, all hell breaks loose in this issue. And it's about to even break more loose in the next issue. But this issue mostly talks about the symptoms of if a person has the fly, like his father did in the previous issue, which he couldn't say because it already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, and finally we have Snake Eyes, Agent of Cobra, issue 4 and 5.
Yeah.
This book I looked through, it was really excellent.
Yeah,
Not much Snake Eyes in it though this time.
Well, the ending page was...
The ending page
yeah.
did, but it was more with this girl. I forgot her name.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either, but she's fighting off against this white samurai, and, well, anyway, they go into a little bit of a backstory of the guy who's at the hospital. I can't. Oh, I'm so terrible with names today.
It's the son that.
The son of Snake Eyes, yeah. So he's in the hospital still, or trying to get out of the hospital.
Well, he does get out.
Well, he does with the help of his lady friend over there. So when he gets out, the white samurai comes in, and the lady and the white samurai have this huge fighting scene. And I know I'm probably forgetting names. You're probably saying, I know names because of G.I. Joe, but I can't really remember all these names because I read a lot of books. What can I say? But anyway, it goes back into, it goes back and forth in time where she spent time with him, the son of Snake Eyes, and we get a little bit more of that. But during the fight between her and the white samurai, it doesn't really end.
Storm
too
Shadow
well.
shows up.
And yeah, Storm Shadow shows
And
up.
because there's a fight between her and Storm Shadow, which is awesome.
And
that's when Snake Eyes shows up.
Yeah, and then the ending page, that is epic.
That I
if
can't
I
wait
could
to
get
see.
a poster of that.
Now they're supposedly on the same side, so this will be interesting to see.
Yeah. Now this is my second favorite book of the week.
Valiant. We're in Valiant for the last 2 books. Bloodshot Reborn, issue number 1.
Yeah, now this is the after effects after Kay died. And he's like saying, who is Bloodshot? We know, we got a little thing, Bloodshot was in the military database and he was used for testing and stuff like that. And the Arcadias, I think, what were they called? It says, go up. So it's littering, no, up more. It was like those little robots, the
Nanites.
Nanoscopic?
Yeah, they're nanoscopic nanites.
Yeah, nanites, yeah. And that was how he became Bloodshot. So we go in the present day where he's his regular self, and I guess we'll continue.
Have to save these last 2 books for the next part, so just give us 1 second and we will continue. Alright, sorry about that, so continue, Mike.
Yeah. So it just talks about his character, about, him not being Bloodshot because of, like I said, what happened with Kay. There is a little thing on the news that he hears of a murder scene that happened, and the guy was actually caught in the surveillance, had the red spot on his chest, pretending to be Bloodshot. And when he hears about this, he doesn't really like it. We do get a little bit of an illusion before this happened where he's with Kay and Kay's trying to convince him to be Bloodshot again. Let's just put it that way. And yeah, and that's where the long talk happens, and you could definitely read the book to find out. But it was a really heart-to-heart. Like, I felt for Ray's character, because his real name is Ray. So, yeah, so that's where the news came in, where there was a bunch of there was like a shooting going on where the kids died, and he doesn't like that happened and that there was another Bloodshot of him. And then Blood Squirt comes out, and this is actually funny when he tried to get him to convince him back that there was another him, and basically he doesn't like what happened with the killing, so he just quits his job and just goes back to being Bloodshot. Because he doesn't like
people stealing his name.
That, but also because of the killing that happened to children and all the other stuff. So that's something.
Alright, and we're ending this review off with Unity issue number 17.
Which is more the vocal point on Livewire's point of view.
Focal.
Yeah, focal. Oh, vocal. I meant focal point of Livewire. So basically, she's on the Jinjar robot, and there's so much that she has on her mind. Like, she goes back to her house and she just wants to try to live a normal life and get back into communication with this one person who she sets a date for. And then she goes to this. She worked at this daycare-like setting, and she gets fired because the director doesn't like that she's publicity more, and that they see her fighting crime, and they don't really want that in their daycare. So she really felt terrible about that, and that's really it. There's just so much more that happens in this book, that she's just saving the world 24/7 as well as going on the date. But there's this other guy who actually comes her way and sits with her, and then she just starts talking to him and just saying, wait, go down, I want to see. Yeah, and she just says, I'm Amanda, what's your name? So I guess she's looking into other people. I don't know.
Oh, looks
So
like
that's
it.
Livewire, but I really like how we went more. I know we did go more in depth with Livewire's story, but I like it how it goes from out of the armor to regular human, like a regular human.
You get in
everyday
regular life, and yeah.
So that's what I meant in that sense. But that was another interesting book from Valiant.
Cool. Valiant's been doing a really great job with a lot of their books.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright guys, so with that, that's it for this indie review. As always, feel free to comment below about any of the books we talk about here. Likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations. Love hearing from you guys all the time. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together, we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And as always, everybody, Big 2 review should be tomorrow night. Fingers crossed. I am only a couple of books away from finishing, so we should have that up tomorrow night, which is Monday night. We'll be recording it Monday night. It'll be up Tuesday morning, but it should be up before the live show, unless something horrible happens and we are unable to finish reading all the Big 2 books. But most likely we'll be ready to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So until then, take care, keep reading, keep collecting. We'll see you guys really soon in the next review.
Later, everybody.